both those guys, and if don't nobody else can recognize it, then that's their loss.
Yeah, I mean, I love David Arquette. He's just, I don't know, it's something like attached to him that's attached to my youth, and he just I don't know, it's weird. It's like he makes me happy when I see him on screen. Eight-Legged Freaks, it's to me a very highly underrated like action horror movie.
Action horror comedy. It makes me laugh just as much, you know. Plus, the spiders are so ridiculous in the film that, you know, they actually have personalities, and that movie's great. If you haven't seen that one, fucking seek that one out, man.
Yes, absolutely. If you haven't watched Eight-Legged Freaks, it is horribly good in the best way possible. I mean, honestly, I would have to give that, like, horror comedy-wise, a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
I mean, just about everything he's in is a 5 out of 5 movie. Think about this. I would give Eight-Legged Freaks a 5 out of 5. I'd give Scream 1, 5 out of 5. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 5 out of 5. Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah.
Almost there. I'd have to think on it. But, I mean, those are just, like, top tier, like...
And don't forget, he's played in a Stephen King film called Riding the Bullet.
Yeah, I mentioned that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Riding the Bullet. I mean, just highly underrated guy. He truly is the underdog.
And he's a former world heavyweight champion.
Yes, he is. Eat shit, wrestling fans. He was your world heavyweight champion at one point. But the next person was definitely not a world champion, but you mentioned him. Ethan Hawke at number 7. I mean, you mentioned The Black Phone, The Purge, Sinister, Daybreakers, Assault on Precinct 13, the 2005 version. I mean, this...
Sinister.
Yeah, I said Sinister. Listen, Linda, listen.
I don't listen to you.
Listen to me, Linda. Anyway, he is one of the actors that can be the underdog. He can be the mysterious, like, writer. He can be the bad guy and creepy as fuck. Like, he can be the action guy. Like, this guy can change it at any time, and that's wild. I mean, his performance in Black Phone alone should get him on at least top 15 horror, baddies.
Yeah. Like, his performance in that film was almost to the point where I didn't know it was him.
Yeah, for real. And then him in Sinister, his performance in Sinister is so good that I forget that he's in Sinister. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's like it's hard to explain, like, a performance so good that you forget he's in the movie.
Yeah,
but you just know, like, that dad character, he just does such a great job in that, writer, mysterious, like, almost like Secret Window type character like Johnny Depp plays. But he is amazing in everything he's in. I can't speak today. I'm sorry.
Well, my next Scream King on my list is a favorite of ours, and that is Kurt Russell.
Kurt fucking Russell. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to put Kurt Russell on my list.
Yes, you know him best as a Scream King from The Thing, but also we talk about that movie Bone Tomahawk a lot today. If you've never seen that movie, do yourself a favor, go see that. That is one badass film. He plays in that as well. There's a great mystery suspense film called Breakdown, which is one of my favorites, where his wife gets kidnapped and he has to go through all these terrible sons of bitches to get her back. That's just a few of the suspense/horror films that he's been in, but you guys know him from a whole bunch of stuff, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, so on. But definitely his performance in John Carpenter's The Thing alone deserves a spot as greatest Scream King.
Yeah, he does. He's such like a awesome guy. He looks like he would be awesome. Plus, he's Santa Claus now. How can you fucking argue with that? He actually did really good. I forgot what it's called. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix exclusive. But the next person is the legendary Michael McDowell.
Malcolm McDowell.
I said his name wrong. Anyway, fuck me. Anyway, Clockwork Orange, obviously, he was a bad guy in the movie. But his work in Halloween and Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie remakes, are fucking amazing. He was the greatest hero and the greatest villain,
Yeah,
which is amazing.
You know, in part 2, he was he was still kind of a hero, but
Ish.
he had been corrupted. You know,
Yeah.
that old Joker saying, not Joker, but Harvey Dent saying, you know,
Yeah.
you either, you know, live long enough to see yourself become a villain,
back,
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah, blah. But yeah, he's great. I like him. Not to mention, he was also in Rob Zombie's 31 as well.
Yes, I was going to mention that. He was also in the Silent Night 2012.
Yes, very underrated.
Very.
Very, very underrated.
He was in Silent Hill Revelation, which is an underrated horror movie also. He was also in a movie called She Will in 2022. I watched the trailer to it, and it looked fucking awesome. I want to check it out. Yeah, I mean, he's just a guy that can do it all. And I really hope I get the chance to meet him, because he is definitely on my top tier list of people to meet.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he's awesome, you know. You've been in here 15 years. That's twice as long as my first marriage.
But yeah, Michael McDowell.
Well, my next person that I'm adding to the list is Michael Gross. And if you guys don't know who that is, older fans will know him as the lovable dad on Three's Company, but you know him as Burt Gummer in every single Tremors film.
Yes, he is awesome.
When Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon decided that they were not going to come back and do the Tremor films, Michael Gross took over the lead role, and now we're up to 6, 7 films right now.
7 or 8, honestly.
Yeah, and he has knocked the performances out of every single one of them. And you would think that as these movies go along, the quality of them might drop down, B-rated movies, if you will. No, every single Tremors movie is fucking entertaining.
It really is.
You know, you can call them B movies all you want to. I don't, especially Michael Gross's character, because and he was in the Tremors series that was on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
And you can watch that right now on Tubi for free. So if you want to catch up on that, but Michael Gross definitely deserves his flowers on my list.
Yeah, he's awesome. He nails it, and I really feel like Tremors is definitely an underrated series, like franchise. It doesn't get mentioned a lot, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, B-rated movies," but they're really good B-rated movies.
I am completely out of ammunition. That's never happened to me before.
Number 5, the one, the only, Donald Pleasance.
Cool, man.
Good Lord, at the horror movies or movies alone he's been in. I mean, Circus of Horrors, Eyes of the Devil, fucking Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, From Beyond the Grave, I Don't Want to Be Born. Of course, Halloween. You know him as Dr. Loomis. I have him tattooed on me. Night Creature, Dracula, The Monsters Club, Halloween 2, Alone in the Dark, Terror in the Ashes, Halloween 4,
Terror in the Isles.
Isles, my bad.
It's a documentary.
House of the Usher, Halloween 5, Edgar Allan Poe's Buried Alive, 1990, Halloween 6. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and that's not even mentioning like Escape from New York and stuff like that. Those are just his horror credits.
Yeah.
But he's great. You'll hear him later on in my list. This is one we differ on
A little bit.
Yeah, not too much. You'll hear him not too far from now.
No, not too far, but he is amazing. His performance alone in Halloween is top 5 worthy in my opinion, if not further up. But what more can I say about him? I know he didn't want to do the role, which is hilarious, but it's so iconic now. But what is your number 5, sir?
My number 5 is Peter Cushing.
Oh, no shit. That's a good one.
Yeah, Peter Cushing, like I mentioned earlier about Christopher Lee being that Dracula, where Peter Cushing was his,
Van Helsing.
Van Helsing. It was like, it's almost like Holmes and Watson type of buddy deal. Peter Cushing, I mean, Dracula 1958, The Curse of Frankenstein, Bride of Dracula, like all of these are Hammer horror classics. And if you guys are out there listening and don't know what Hammer horror is, it's basically the British version of the Universal Monster Pictures.
Yeah.
They took the Frankensteins, the Draculas, and quite frankly, a lot of those movies are a lot better than the old Universal Pictures. Maybe not the original Universal ones, but the later on, yeah, Hammer horror knocks them out of the park. And Peter
really
Cushing, probably in pop culture, if you want an image of Peter Cushing, he also, one of his bigger films that he ever did was Star Wars. So
Yeah, of
Peter
course.
Cushing deserves top 5 in my book, baby.
The next one, number 4, is none other than Ken Foree.
Nice.
Where to fucking start with this guy?
I forgot to put him on my list, but I'm glad you put him on the list. As long as they get mentioned on the show, I'm okay.
Right. Dawn of the Dead, 1978.
Fuck yeah.
From Beyond, Death Spa, Phantom of the Mall. He played in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Devil's Rejects, The Dentist, Devil's Den, Splatter Disco, Zone of the Dead, The Lords of Salem, The Riff,
Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Rob Zombie's Halloween. I didn't even get to put that on the list.
He was the dad on Kenan and Kel.
He was the dad on Kenan and Kel. That is 100% true, and I fucking forgot about that. Wow. Yes, but his performance in Dawn of the Dead landed at number 4. Not to mention, he is one of the top African American horror scream kings.
Definitely. And, his work with George A. Romero, his later work with Rob Zombie, he deserves all his flowers. I had a chance to meet him a couple years ago, and you would think that people would get most people would get Dawn of the Dead pictures and autographs. I, however, was a huge fan of his character in Rob Zombie's Halloween, Joe Grizzly, and I specifically wanted him to write, "I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch," because that was my favorite line from the movie, and he looked at me and he said, "I got you, brother," and he wrote just that, and I'm happy.
Yes, he was awesome. I didn't meet him, but I got to see meet him, and he was carrying on conversations with people. He was very interactive, and he's that all-around actor. He can play a dad character. He can play the hero. He can play the villain. He can play the cool guy.
Yeah.
He's a Swiss Army knife when it comes to acting.
He really is. He can play the pimp, or he can play the cop arresting the pimp.
Yeah, it's so fucking crazy. But what is your number 4, sir?
Well, my number 4 is Donald Pleasance. Told you he wasn't too far up the list. Like you said, my 3. I wrote down my 3 favorite films that I've seen him in, which is Prince of Darkness, Phenomena, directed by Dario Argento, and of course, the famous Halloween.
Of course,
as Dr. Loomis. And Donald Pleasance is one of these guys. He's dabbled in the Hammer horror as well. Played in Tales from the Crypt from 1972, before there was a Crypt Keeper. Remember, Tales from the Crypt actually was a comic book type of deal before it was a television show.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
But he's a great. And he can also play the villain as well, because he is one, if not the most memorable Bond villain of all time.
Very true.
Dude, if you like Austin Powers and you like Dr. Evil is based off of Donald Pleasance's character in a Bond film. So, the big bald peanut head with the
scar on his eye,
with the little glass thingy like the penguin has. Yeah, Donald Pleasance is fucking awesome.
He is. He's the man. I mean, like I said, obviously I have him tattooed on me. He is that great of an actor, and his performances are that iconic. Speaking of iconic, number 3, Kevin Bacon.